Hello class, I wanted to make a quick video for you guys this week. For those of you that weren't able to join our Google Hangout, I wanted to touch on how to save a image for your website. There's still a few of you that are uploading images to your milestone assignment that are really big intrinsically. And yes, you've sized them down using some dimensions in your code, but intrinsically, they're still huge when you're uploading it to your folder or to Alta Vista. So we're going to go over one more time in Photoshop how to size an image for web. Okay, so I've imported this image into Photoshop for one of my blog posts, and I showed a few of you today on the Hangout, but I'm going to do it one more time with the screen recorder on so you guys can watch it again if you need to use it. There's also a few other image downsizer tool things that you can find online. I like to use Photoshop because it's part of the Creative Cloud, and I'm usually always using it for something. It's already open on my computer, so it's faster for my process. So I went to File, I went to Open, I found my picture, it's here. If you want to do any edits to it, you can. If you want to crop it, you can. This picture is ready to go, so I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Export, and I like to use Save for Web, which is a legacy feature from Photoshop, and it's just one way to export an image super quick with some fine-tuned adjustments, and that way I can save it as a web-friendly optimized photo. Okay, all right, so File, Export, Save for Web. All right, this next screen has a few options for you. What I want you to pay attention to is down here where it has some information about the image. So right now this image is a JPEG image. It's 208K, which isn't too terribly huge, right? But it's still over the 100K threshold that we want to be below. So I want to make this file just a little bit smaller. What I'm going to do is come up here, and with this drop down, I can select any of these different kinds of photo extensions. So I want to use a JPEG because I know that that's the most optimized for web. It's the smallest file and it's going to load the fastest. And I'm not really concerned about image quality at this point, especially for where this is going. This is just a blog picture. So I'm going to use a JPEG because it's the smallest. I don't really care about quality. So that's what I'm using. Medium quality for the photo, you can move this up and down. If I select low, see how that dropped that down to 121, and I'm still at the original aspect ratio of 3000 by 2000. So that is a good way to compress the image without changing the dimensions, but I want to have a little bit better quality, so I'm going to go to medium. And you can notice like the slight pixelation on some edges with that, but it's really not very noticeable. If I go to high, you see how that gets even more smooth. Hopefully you have a good enough screen you can see, because it's really just a really subtle change. I'm going to use medium for this just because I'm not going to be using this as a really big photo on my website, so that should do it. Okay, over here, I know that the area that I'm going to be placing this image in is about 700 pixels wide, and so I'm going to do 700 pixels wide, and as long as this little chain is clicked, it will keep the image proportionate, okay? And as soon as I click, it's going to downsample that preview for us and then give us the new size. So right now, this is still a JPEG image. It's been downsized to 23K, which is perfect for web. It will load super quick, and it won't take forever to pop up on our page. And so then all we would have to do is click Save and make sure you know where you're saving it on your computer. Make sure it's in the same folder as your index.html, your style.css, and everything, so it links up when you're uploading it to Alta Vista. Make sure you upload your picture with it. And so that's just a little refresher on how to save your image for web. Please, please, please remember to do this so that I can see your pretty pictures on your assignment. Okay, so hit save. You'll give it a nice name. Make sure you know where you're saving it, and that's it for our image saving review. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is your code on Dixie11. Dixie11 was fairly, simple. We only had a couple of little changes to our CSS and index.html documents. Just going forward, I want to make sure that your code is right where it needs to be. And so I have highlighted a couple of things. First, over here, you should have added a couple of things to your HTML. One is a video tag that has controls equals controls, and that just makes your controls appear, right? We're giving this area a width of 480. You will not put px here. It just wants the straight number. If you put px here, it will error out on you. And then we're giving it a poster image of movie.jpg. And as I hover over this, you see the picture appears, okay? Not the video, the picture. This is the JPEG picture that holds the place of the video when it's not playing. So that way when the page loads, they at least see something in that little black box instead of a blank black box, okay? And then we're gonna give it a source. This is what pulls in the MP4 video into the HTML page and allows people to then click on the controls to press play, and this is the source for what it plays. Okay, so this movie.mp4 is the actual video that then is then playing on your website. So you have to make sure that you have two things in the folder with your HTML document. You need to have movie.jpg and you need to have movie.mp4. All right, the type for this source is a video/mp4 file, and that's just so that the browser knows what it is, and then you close your video tag there, okay? Another thing to pay attention to, your nav A is going to have a text direction with none, and we're adding a transition of ease out. This is your syntax for the transition, okay? So you can just put those two calls right next to each other after your transition, okay? Those were the two things anyways I wanted to make sure we had clear, because there's just a couple of you that had a little bit of a syntax issue and different things. So there's that. Okay, moving on. Our assignment this week, it's really straightforward and it might feel like a trick because it's so easy. So I wanted to walk through that with you really quickly here. What you will be doing, same thing that we've done before, where we copy everything from Dixie11 into Dixie12. And then we're going to update the navigation for each page. So what you're going to do in your HTML documents, in your nav, you're going to add a link to your shop.html page, okay? Use the same format as the other pages. So if we were to go back right there to our navigation, right? So this is our navigation area. We're just adding another line item with an anchor tag that is ahref equals, and we're gonna have shop.html, okay? And when you create that page, that link will work. Right now, we're just adding that link to our HTML. It's gonna say shop, and then you're gonna want to make sure you have an opening and close line item, and you want to make sure you have an opening and close anchor tag, and that's all surrounding the word shop, and that's how that appears in your navigation, okay? You should remember how that works, hopefully. Ah, man, you know me. OCD about how these things lining up. All right, cool. So that's all you're going to do as far as that's concerned. You will go to brackets, you will hit File, New, copy everything from your HTML document into a new document to create the shop.html, and then you'll follow the instructions from the assignment to create that page. So you'll change the title to an appropriate title or phrase, right? So the title is this right here in your head section. So Dixie State University Shop would be great. Let's see. So we have the page title. We're going to change the H2 to Dixie State Bookstore. The H2 you'll remember in the HTML right here. We'll just change that to Dixie State Bookstore. Delete the other HTML elements within the main element, and then you're going to visit Ecwid. And you're going to sign up for a free account. Sometimes people get a little bit lost in this step in the process. What you want to make sure you do is you end up on this page here where you can then copy this code, all right? And what we're doing is basically just copying that and putting it into our HTML page, and that's it, okay? So make sure you don't delete anything out of the code here. When you validate this code, you will get some warnings. I will not be docking you points for those warnings. It's totally okay. So that's all you're doing with that. Dropping it into your shop.html. It should look something like this when you pull it open. Make sure you guys you're following these links at the bottom of your assignment for the validators, both your HTML and your CSS. This is still where people are losing points on assignments, and I really like giving you 100 points. So make sure you validate your file. Warnings are okay. It should be Dixie12, right? And if you have any other questions, I'm going to be on Google Hangouts Thursday at 4 p.m. Log into your Dmail account and you can chat with me there. If you have any other questions, just send me an email through Canvas or audrey.wadsworth@dixie.edu, and I'll make sure that you are staying up to date on everything. All right, good luck. We'll see you later.